Welcome back, guys. Mark here, and we're going to continue with our dice roller series. So we're creating a dice roller that will generate rolls for any tabletop role-playing game like Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, any D20 system. So we're going to continue with the lesson 2. And if you remember last night, we left off with setting up our window. So our window opens. We actually have some menu items, and we wired them in so the exit help doesn't do anything right now, but we wired that in. And if you remember in last night's lesson, we kind of were playing around with the event handlers. I like to use event handlers and kind of get away from branch labels as much as I can. So we're actually going to change this because I kind of did a little homework for you guys why that didn't work. And the reason it didn't work, it doesn't seem to like passing in a handle or a parameter into the subroutine from menu items. Whether it's the handle, I didn't play with it too much, but if I comment out this parameter handle in the select case, our window closes. So we're just going to create a simple subroutine called dr.quit and then end sub. And then here we're going to say close and the window handle dr, and then we're going to do end. So now you can see we can actually get rid of the branch label for quit. This will just clean it up a little bit more. So I'm going to save, run, file, exit, our window closes. And we're going to do the same thing for about. So let's just get rid of the brackets. And we'll just create a new subroutine. So sub dr.about and sub. And for right now, it's not going to do anything. We're just going to wait. Because we are going to have it pull open a window, but I'll talk about that once we get there. And so we have just simple little subroutines. And I'll just put down here, I'll do a comment of about information to be added. Perfect. So if we click on about, that'll pop that open later on. So we'll populate it with some information. So I'm going to try to get through everything I wanted to get through tonight with you guys. We're going to try to hide the menu. We have to build some functions for that. But if you see right now, we have file, edit, help, and I could just comment out edit, right? And if I did that and I run this, we have file and help. Normal. But because we're going to add a text editor later on, edit is automatically going to be added with that control. And we're going to use the Windows API to actually hide that control because we really don't want to edit the text in there. It's just a text editor that we're going to pump information to. So we're going to set that up as well. We might finish off our variables tonight as well, but we'll see how far we get. Like I said, I want to keep these around 15 minutes. So let's look at our window. So right now our window is kind of bland, right? So let's go ahead and add a little bit of color to it. So we're going to actually set the background color. So capital B, back, ground, capital C, color. It's a string variable. And equal, and we're going to say dark green. So now let's run this and look at our window. A little more stylish. I like it. So it looks a lot better. So we're going to continue building. So let's go ahead and look at what else we need to add. So as a dice roller, we actually want to have columns of information. And so basically, because what we're building is going to be like to be able to roll a 4-sided die, a 6-sided die, an 8-sided die, up to a 100-sided die. So we're going to have some columns of information, and then we're going to spit out the text here in our text editor window. So let's set up our static text just so we know what we have up top. And then we'll go ahead and add our text editor and our what we need to hide. So right here, so first row of static text, and this is going to be the handle of our window. So dr dot, and let's call this st1, so static text 1, because we're going to have basically 4 columns across there. And so this will just kind of keep this nice and simple and easy. So static text 1, and then we need our label, so we're going to say dice type, comma, and then we need to place it. So let's do 25 over, so on the x-axis, over 25 to the right, and we're going to be down on the y-axis 10. And then we're going to have it be 75 by 25. And that'll let us see that. So if we want to see it, let's go ahead and run it now. And there it is. And we're going to set the font here in a second as well. We'll do that in this lesson as well. Kind of give it a bigger, bolder font. So dice type. So let's go ahead and finish just laying out our static text. So static text. st2. Now you can do a lot of copying and pasting here. Just remember, if you copy and paste, you need to make sure you change everything. Number of dice, and this one's going to be over 125, 10, 90, then 25, and I have seen personally myself where copy and pasting, if you're tired and it's early in the morning or late in the morning, depends on how you want to phrase it, you may forget to change something. So just kind of keep that in mind. So modifier, and this is where we'll have a positive or negative. Whoop, wrong key. So basically think about, you know, if we're rolling a dice, we actually may have a modifier to that die roll. So a lot of the guys, if you're watching this video, you might play D&D. Sometimes you get a +2 or a +3 or a -2 or a -3, depending on what's going on. That's what the modifier result's going to be. So we're going to be over 250 and then 10. So if you guys remember, I said this is my 3rd version. So this isn't the first time I've built this. I've improved it every time. And so that's what we're doing here. We're just going to make some more improvements to it by bringing it over to using subroutines and event handlers, minimizing the code hopefully a little bit as we go as well. Plus hopefully somebody out there is learning something. I always learn something when I teach something. That's what's kind of cool about it. So 5, 15, and then we're going to be down 10. It's all the way across, and this is going to be 50, 25. So now if we look at all this text across here, so it's pretty nice. So you see we got the dice type, so that's going to be, you know, 4-sided, 6-sided, 8-sided, 10, 12, 20, 100. Number of dice, so how many dice are we rolling? Maybe 1, maybe 2, so 2d4 would be 2 4-sided dice, 2d10, 2 10-sided dice, and then a modifier. Are we going to be plus or minus? Are we going to add anything to that roll, or are we going to, you know, subtract anything from that roll? And then what is the result of it? But that's kind of hard to read, that text. So let's go ahead and right now we're going to add in our font. So let's go ahead and change the font. So right underneath our trap close, do our window handle, and then basically we're going to say quotes. We need font, and what font? We're going to use Georgia. It'll be 10 point. And let's have it be bold. So now let's save that, run it. There we go. It's bigger, it's bolder, we can see it, it's a lot clearer, so it looks nice. That looks really nice up there. So we've added a little bit more. So let's go ahead and start working on hiding the edit menu. But before we do that, we need to go ahead and add in our text editor. So let's go ahead and say, okay, text editor output elements. And so one of the first things that we're going to do is we're actually going to add the text editor. So text editor, our window handle, so that's where we're going to dock it to. And we'll call it t-edit out. So text editor output, so that's the window. And basically we're going to have this be over 46. It's going to be down 260. It's going to be more towards the bottom of the window. And it's going to be 530 wide by 100 tall. So let's go ahead and save this and run it. There we go. So now it's kind of in the position, but it's got this horizontal scroll bar. We don't need that. So we're going to use style bits to hide that. Also, I want to show you guys now, if we go back and we comment out our editor for our menu here, and we run this, you notice we get edit over to the right because it's being added by the text editor. When we have it added, it stays in the center because it's part of our controls. The text editor sees that we have edit, it leaves it alone. But we need to leave it there so that when we use our API call to our function, that it removes it for us properly. So we're going to leave that in there, and we're going to build that here. So let's use our style bit. So this is style bits. Don't forget the S, I've done that before. So dr, and then it's going to be dot t-edit out. Our IntelliSense helps with this. And then basically we're going to say it's going to be 0. These are all commands. And then it's going to be underscore ws underscore h. So horizontal scroll 0, 0. 0, 0, there we go. So this will hide the horizontal scroll bar. So now if we save this and run it, see, no more horizontal scroll bar. So the style bit allows us to edit this control. If you want to learn more about style bits, I'd say look them up, see what they do. They do a lot of things like this. So it looks pretty cool. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. It's a separate subject that we could spend all night on. So, but it hides that horizontal scroll bar. So that part's done. So now we can work on hiding the edit button. So we're going to have to add some functions. And those functions allow us to actually call a few things and hide it. So we need a total of 4 functions. And so let's scroll down because we'll put them at the bottom. We'll put them way down at the bottom. And let's do another comment block and do some more dashes here or equal signs. And we'll do like we did last night, 125. And so I'll do a comment below this, and this is going to be functions to remove edit on the menu bar. So we kind of keep some organization, which I like. So our first function is basically going to be a subroutine, and it's going to be called draw menu bar. And then it's going to have one parameter, which is the handle to our window. So HWND. And sub. And so we're going to call a DLL. So to do that, we do call DLL, and then we're gonna, this is the user 32, and then the function within that DLL we're gonna call is the draw menu bar function. And then we're gonna comma underscore, don't forget to hit the space there, and then we're gonna pass this quite a few different parameters in here. So we can do this a couple different ways. So we can say h menu bar as unsigned long, and what we can do is at the end of each one of these, instead of stacking them up as icon where you can do a comma and we could write the next one here, if we do an underscore every time, that keeps it going. So we can do one per line. So we can say, okay, end position as long. So what position is it in? And these are data types. So you want to learn more about that, you look up data types. So that's end position. Oh, I don't want end position here. Nope. So we do want, so let's get rid of this. We don't want that one yet. We want this one. So we want the handle to our window, HWND. Jeez, sorry about that. Caught my own bug. So HWND as long, which is the handle to our window. And then we're going to do the same underscore, so we keep going here. And then we're actually going to have R as Boolean, so true or false. So that's going to draw our menu bar. So the handle to our window, true or false, draw that menu bar. So that's the easy one. So after the subroutine, we're going to have a function. So function get sub menu, and this is going to have two parameters. So h menu bar, and that'll be a comma, and then we'll have the position. So this is going to get any sub menus and say, okay, what position are they in? So end function. And so let's go ahead and build this out. Once again, we're going to call the user 32 DLL. So call DLL. And then it's going to be user 32. And this is going to be the function in that DLL of get sub menu. Comma underscore. And I'm going to do the underscore. I'm going to have one thing per line just to keep it clear. This is where we're going to have H menu bar. Well, I apologize that for a second ago. Apologize for that, but we're back on track now. So we have our menu bar. That's an unsigned long. We're going to have end position as a long. And we're going to have get sub menu as unsigned long. So u long. So that's our the end of that function. So that's going to go ahead and get the sub menu. The next function we're going to do is get the menu. So function, once again, is going to be called get menu. Okay. And this is only going to have one parameter, which is the handle, so HWND. And let's do end function. And then once again, this is going to use the same DLL. So user 32. And then this is going to be, once again, get menu. And so this will be the handle to our window, HWND, as it's going to be an unsigned long. And then it's going to be get menu as long. There's a great book out there, Alice's Restaurant. Alice, she published a book. It's an ebook now on APIs and DLL calls. It's a great book. I recommend getting it or looking it up if you guys are looking for more on APIs and stuff. So I'm not going to keep breaking this down, but we're going to keep calling these DLLs that do these functions. And the last function that we're going to have is remove menu. So as you guys can imagine, this is what is going to remove the edit menu for us. So this one's going to have H menu and H submenu. So because we're going to pass everything into it. So the main menu and the sub menu, we're going to pass those in as parameters. And function. And then basically call DLL once again. And it's going to be the user 32. And once again, this is going to be remove menu. Don't forget the underscore, and then we're gonna say, okay, H menu as an unsigned long, and then we're gonna have H submenu, H submenu as an unsigned long. Remember I said these are data types. And then we're gonna pass in a Windows command. So mf I'm still learning these commands, so like, you know, like I said, that book is a great book to go ahead and grab because I'm still learning. There's Windows commands are kind of tricky still, but we're getting there. So mf by command, and then remove menu as a Boolean, so true or false. So these are all of our functions. So if I save this and run this, nothing's going to happen. We're going to go ahead and get an error. Unsupported type long, and you guys see my error? It's right there already. I hit period. It's right in there. My own little bug. That should be a comma. So it's always good to build after you create something, even if you know it's not going to do anything yet. It's good to run it, make sure it builds. There we go, perfect. We still have edit, but now we have the functions to go ahead and use to remove that edit on the menu bar. And so to do that, we're going to do that right below our window. So if we scroll up here, we've got a pretty small, so I believe we're going to do it right below the weight, or right above the weight, excuse me. So we're going to do it right in here. So when we open our window, the first thing is we're going to have H main. And I'm pretty sure we're going to have to declare these all as, no, we're going to declare these locally, not globally. So these aren't going to be global variables. These are going to be local variables to when we open our main window. So H main, and this is going to equal this function, which is HWND. So this is the window, or the handle to our window. And what we're going to do is we're going to pass this in DR. So what that does is it passes in this handle into this function, HWND, which is the handle to our window, the Windows handle, not this handle, the actual number within the Windows operating system, and assigns it to this variable hmain. And then what we do next is we call our function, which is h main, or we declare our next local variable and we call our function with it. So h main menu equals, and this is where we use our get menu function. And what we're going to do with that is we're actually going to pass in h main. So this is the handle to our window. We're going to pass the handle to our window into this function, get menu, and get menu is going to go ahead and get the menu that we have in our function. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tell it, okay, you also need to get the sub menu. So this is going to be h main edit, and we're going to have get sub menu. And once again, what we're going to do is we're going to pass in the h main menu. You see, each function or each call that we're doing is so we can support the next function that we're going to call. So we're going to get the main menu, the sub menu, and then the result, that's going to be all lowercase. The result is going to be the remove menu. So remove menu, and this is where we're going to pass in those two parameters, if you guys remember. So we're going to pass in h main menu, and then we're going to pass in the sub or the what we're going to edit, which is the h main edit. That way we can remove it. So that's going to go ahead and say, okay, we're going to remove edit, and then we're going to redraw the menu bar. Remember that subroutine we built? So we're going to call, that's going to be draw menu bar, and what that's going to be is the handle to our window. So hwnd, and we're going to pass in our window handle. So using those functions we just built and using the calls to all of those functions, we should now have the edit menu removed from our program. Let's run it, and let's go ahead and see what error we have here. So our sub menu, we forgot to pass in one more parameter because it has multiple parameters, if you guys remember. So we're going to pass in number 1 from h main edit. So number 1, I forgot to do that. Save, run. There we go, no more edit. Hey, it's gone. So if you guys remember, get sub menu needs the position. What position is it in? 0, 1, 2. So you have to find where it is. Well, our edit is in position number 1. Computers start counting at 0. So the main menu is at 0, edit is at 1, and then help is at number 2. So we need to remove number 1. So by forgetting to add that parameter there, I missed it. But we have it back. So now you can see we have file exit, help. If we click on about, it doesn't do anything because we haven't wired it up yet. And we have exit, which allows us to close the program. So some simple calls to some DLLs, and we have our menu editor. I went a little long on this one. I kind of knew I would. I went 20 minutes, 29 minutes, but you know, it's a lot of information when you're looking at functions and in the DLLs. I definitely recommend looking up style bits and what they do, and look up calling the DLLs and what they do. I'm still learning a lot of these Windows commands myself. Like I said, there are so many out there. But as you can see, this one works very well. I use it in many programs to actually remove edit when I don't need it. So it works very well. But hope you guys like this video. This concludes lesson 2. I'll run it and pull it back up. You look in lesson 2, we actually have more of a window. We have more commands, more devices. In the next video, we'll keep on editing and adding more control to this program. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, if you liked the video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, and I'll see you in the next one.